too, for all their help. You guys were fabulous. I walked in with nothing, and you guys supported me 100%. I got to thank you very much. I'd also like to thank John Eccles, who's in the back. He's our Western coordinator. Rich Snizik, who's in the Southeast. Dave Kurtz, who's in the Central, and Bob Simmons, who's in the Northeast. We have about 190 teams, and I don't even know them all. But I tell you that when I went out to Utah, they were very excited about me coming out there and welcomed me with open arms. And it was really a thrill to go out there. And I look forward to making trips out to other places in the next year. I'd like to thank Ed Giacomucci for all his help in the national tournament. He sort of held my hand and walked me through it, along with all the guys from Utah and the broadcast crew that said, "No, Jay, you want to do it this way. No, Jay, you want to do it this way." So that was really helpful. This past year at the national tournament, Florida Gulf Coast was our winner. They had an outstanding year. Their battles with Liberty were absolutely unbelievable from what I understand, and they met again in the national championship, and it was great to see them. But big congratulations to Florida Gulf Coast on their victory. I'd like to, the things that were brought up before about the Community Service Award, I'd like to go through something, and NYU is our victor, or the team that won the award, but I'd like to read a couple of things to you, and it'll just take a minute. This season, NYU Ice Hockey consistently volunteered in various charities and organizations throughout the city while building a stronger sense of community amongst the university and its students. With their Charity of the Game initiative, which is in their 6th year, the team gave money to 8 different community organizations: the Boys Club of New York, the American Cancer Society, Ice Hockey in Harlem, the NYU Faces, which is finding a cure for epilepsy and seizures, Art for All, the Children Aid Society, Huntington Disease Society of America, the Boomer Esiason Foundation, and the Relay for Life. The team's players often volunteered at the St. Francis Xavier Soup Kitchen on weekends and continued their tradition in participating in Stephen Siller Tunnel to Tower Run, which raises money and awareness for first responders and military members who sacrifice in the line of duty. Though they've actively increased their presence within the surrounding community, the team also brings a sense of community and identity to the university and the students. This sense of community was displayed during the team's Daily Strong campaign after starting goaltender Sam Daly was diagnosed with a brain tumor. The team and their fans and the NYU community responded by organizing an annual fundraiser to support brain tumor awareness. The team also demonstrated leadership through their second partnership with an organization called Team Impact, where they adopted a 10-year-old who had severe epilepsy. The team paired with 10-year-old Sean Gargan and has given emotional support to him and his family. The players have visited him in the hospital, let him practice with the team, and really gave him a jersey prior to a game and made him an official part of their team. Sean's father, John, spoke about the impact that made on his son, whether it was visiting Sean in the hospital, researching epilepsy, then taking the time out to demanding work schedules and demanding academic schedules. It was an inspiration for all of us. Giving Sean, through this condition, a chance to say, "I'm a part of something that's normal," has changed his life. Overall, NYU Ice Hockey is demonstrated a strong sense of civic pride, responsibility by reaching out to the surrounding New York City community whenever possible and helping those in need. They've accomplished all of this while strengthening NYU's sense of community to the competitive sports program and led by the student athletes who apply themselves to their fullest on and off the ice. It's a real pleasure to give this to NYU this year, and I'd like to have a round of applause for them. It's my honor to introduce this year's men's Division II Player of the Year, a senior from Florida Gulf Coast, Daniel Echeverry. Dan is an outstanding, had an outstanding year playing 35 games this year. He had 19 goals, 49 assists, 68 points, and he never got a penalty. Never got a penalty. In our national tournament, he earned the most outstanding player in the national tournament. I had the opportunity to watch Dan during the national tournament in Westchester. His poise and leadership on the ice was a pleasure to watch. Congratulations, Dan. Job done very well. Please smile.
Association Men's Division II Coach of the Year, which is awarded to Florida Gulf Coast University head coach Bob Brinkworth. This is the second time Bob has been honored with this award. This past season, under Bob's leadership, Florida Gulf Coast had a season record of 25-5-0 and going 5-0-0, winning the ACHA Men's Division II National Championship. It's their second in the last 4 years. Bob has spent the last 14 seasons behind the bench at Florida Gulf Coast, amassing an overall record of 362, 64, 19, and 5, which is absolutely amazing. Born on May 10th, 1942. Bob grew up, yes, 1942. Grew up around the rinks in the hometown of Toronto. That is about, how many decades is that? About 8 decades. Being involved in hockey. And Bob attended the RPI in Troy, New York, where he played 3 years of hockey at the NCAA Division I level. He was named ECAC Rookie of the Year in '62 and Player of the Year in '63 and '64. He only played 3 years. Again, Rookie of the Year and then Player of the Year the next 2 years. Amassed 216 points in 71 games and is tied with Adam Ellis as the third leading scorer in RPI history. He's also been honored and inducted into the RPI Hockey Ring of Honor. Bob was drafted by the Montreal Canadiens upon graduation and immediately turned pro. He started his professional career in with the Omaha Knights in the Central Professional Hockey League. In '64, he then played in the American Hockey League for the Providence Reds and the Baltimore Clippers. After much success in the AHL, he moved to capture 2 Turner Cups while playing in the National Hockey League. Played for the Port Huron Wings, which is a farm club of the Red Wings. Bob has also been part of the ACHA D2 Selects. I had the honor of coaching with him along with Jim Martin from Michigan State in Europe. Had a wonderful time. Jim actually mentioned to me that earlier this evening that it was nice to see Bob in clothes this evening. So I'm not really sure what he meant by that. But it's my sincere pleasure to introduce a great leader, a great coach, and a good friend, Bob Brinkworth. Come on up.
It's a very humbling experience to be named the Coach of the Year with the quality of teams that have emerged in D2 and the competitiveness, particularly at the end of the season. In our tournament, it's pool play, and there was 11 teams still alive in the third game, which is the game where one plays two, and any one of those 11 teams could have gone on and made the Final Four. And so it's a real testament to the number of teams that were competitive and had a chance to win. Our organization is, there's a couple of things that are, don't fully understand at times, that we've had 15 people that have been with the organization for more than 10 years. And there's one here tonight that I would like to pay special recognition to, because the ACHA discovered him about 5 years ago, and he's now the president of the Florida League. He was the coordinator in the South region this year, and also helped the commissioner when Mike Radakovich suddenly passed away. I'd just like him to stand up. He supports 2 teams at Florida Gulf Coast University, our Division II and Division III team, and the amount of work that he's done and his commitment. We started this together 14 years ago, and I'd just like him to stand up and get some of the recognition that he really deserved. Rich Snizek. It's been, hockey's been part of my life for, now that you know the year I was born in, for 69 years. And I can remember getting a pair of skates when I was 5 years old. I can remember going down to the rink and took 3 strides and fell on my butt. And my father said that was kind of typical, because you thought you'd go out there and be skating around the rink like everybody else. And by the end of the day, I was able to skate and started playing at Scarborough Arena, and was there for probably 9 or 10 years, and then got the opportunity to move on. One of the things this year that's changed in hockey, and training used to be going to a few skates in August, and then going to training camp and having skates that you get blisters on your feet, gloves, is tough to break in, and I have small fingers, so I used to give them to the defenseman to try and break in. But the commitment for training today, and you just need to look at the NHL with the kind of effort that's put in every other night. But the team I had this year, the commitment to work ethic was absolutely the reason I'm up here tonight. And Dan Etcheberry, who was up here a few minutes ago, has been part of the 2 Division II championships that we won. The first one, he scored the winning goal, and that was his first semester. And he is the leading scorer in one season. He had over 100 points 3 years ago. And so people like him and his commitment, you know, the hormones, when you hit 20 and 22, they start to kick in a little stronger. And we had a 6-week break before we went to the national tournament, and that was from February 5th all the way to March 18th. And 2 weeks before the national tournament was spring break. And spring break also means that all the other schools come down here, and we had only 2 players that weren't here for that week, and we had extra practices. It was still two weeks away. But the commitment, and when we run a pretty high-tempo skate, more along the lines I would have learned with Edmonton of having a good 50 minutes, and at the end of practice, there's half the teams going side to side, doing stops and starts, and doing other routines. So the commitment of the players this year was, you know, made my job an awful lot easier. And I think that there's 3 coaches that certainly have influenced how I think about the game. One is Scotty Bowman, who comes down here from Tampa. He was with Detroit when I was in Detroit, and I got to know him. He was in Montreal. He knew who I was, but I don't think he ever got close to calling me up for a game when he was there. But the one thing about him was that's really stuck with me. He said, you know, you learn something new every year, and you can sit down and have a conversation with him, and it'll be 2-way. And it's a very, very easy man to talk to, and his I think his mystery with the players why he moved probably 3 or 4 times with teams, because they couldn't figure out. He was always 1 or 2 steps ahead in his thinking, and it was confusing to some of the players. I know that Steve Yzerman was, there was a little bit of maybe not on the same page starting out in Detroit, and he made him into an all-round player, both defensively, he could always score goals. Roger Nielsen, who drafted me, and I played for him when I was 12 years old, and he drafted me out of college in Montreal. And certainly one of the most inspirational coaches that I got to know through my playing days was Ned Harkness, and his ability to get the best out of you through, he didn't know an awful lot about hockey, I don't believe, but his inspiration, he never gave anything but 100%. And so anyways, it's an honor for me to be here and be part of the ACHA, and I think the things that are going to happen next year are just a huge step forward, and I think this group will get the recognition because of the quality of play, particularly at the end of the year, that the caliber has gotten better and better, and if there's a team you got to catch, which used to be Davenport, we figured how to get even with them, and then they moved up a division, and so we're seriously considering that going forward, because the rivalry we had with them was great. So thank you very much for the award.
Thank you, Bob, Jay, and Paul. A lot of young coaches out there can learn an awful lot. Talking to Bob, he knows how to climb the ladder of success. Just don't ask him how to get down. So, I'd like to bring Molly Mahoney to the podium to present the Women's Division I Awards. Thank you.
So first, I'd just like to thank the ACHA board for giving me the opportunity to be the women's commissioner. This was my first year, so I appreciate you guys believing in me and giving me this opportunity. And also thank you to our women's teams and coaches for putting up with me and being patient as I learn the rules and those kinds of things. So thank you. So this year's Division I Player of the Year was from the University of Massachusetts. She played 29 games, had 49 goals, 19 assists, and that was Brittany Lanzilli. She scored against all of the teams that they played against. She was a phenomenal player to watch out on the ice. This year's national championship was held in Kalamazoo, Michigan. It was held at Wings West and sponsored by Discover Kalamazoo. And this year's champions were the Miami University Redhawks. This was their second championship in 2 years. And this year, our Coach of the Year is Kat Hanna from Lindenwood, Belleville. A little bit about Kat, she actually played in the ACHA and then continued and transitioned from being a player to a coach. And she's done an awesome job taking over this team, and she actually made it to the national championship. So come on up, Kat.
Can you guys hear me? I really wish I could get up here and just kind of speak like everybody else and speak what's on my mind, but we'll be talking about breakfast sandwiches and where we're going after this. So I wrote everything down and just kind of bear with me with it. I really will get way off topic. So, all right. First off, I want to thank all of you for being here. I'm sure everyone who gets the chance and the honor of accepting this award says how truly grateful they are. But as a first-year coach, I cannot be more proud and absolutely honored to be standing in front of all this talent. It's taken me some time to write the speech. I was actually sitting by the pool at 2:49 p.m. today, which was, I thought, was going to be about 4.5 hours, but that's time's changed. Some of you may find this irresponsible. I, however, believe in instinct and inspiration, and this conference is my last opportunity to learn a few more things, be inspired, share my absolute true feelings with all of you. You see, I want this to be done well, because I endeavor to improve everything I touch, and I want to bring that goal to Linwood. So I was just sitting by the pool on a gorgeous day, thankful for my new job. I was thinking about what I could impress upon all of you. Standing here as a relatively young first-year coach, I quickly realized that there's very little I can say that all of you don't already know, haven't already been through, or haven't already heard from somebody else. So what I really want to do with this privilege is make sure all of you understand how much it means to me, especially after taking a leap of faith and changing my entire life. What most of you don't know is that I recently lost my father, and his dream was seeing me give back to a community that gave so much back to me. His dream was to watch me coach college hockey, and I shared that dream. I think we all have an idea and a vision in our minds of what coaching college hockey really is, and then you start the job. In my case, it was a couple weeks into the season. I didn't know a single player, a person, a coach. I didn't know anybody. I was the rookie. The job smacks you in the face. It humbles us very quickly. It steals all of our free time and challenges us daily. I swear, I was literally accidentally successful. There were so many things, and I can go on and on about this, but there were so many things that could have gone wrong. I mean, I had games on the schedule that weren't there. I'm calling people saying, hey, I'm going to be there in 2 weeks. I don't know who you are, and I don't know what you're talking about. And, you know, places I was supposed to go where people are calling me and saying, hey, you going to be here in 2 days? I don't know. I really, I got fined on my first couple home games. I went on the road by myself for my first games ever as a coach. My coaches kind of slid it in there a couple days before I have a wedding and I have to work. So it was, we almost stood up the national champions. That was interesting. I found out like 2 days before we were actually going there. One of my friends calls me and says, my GA at the time calls me and says, hey, when are the games against Miami of Ohio? I'm like, Saturday and Sunday, super confident. And she's like, I think they're Friday and Saturday. No, they're Saturday and Sunday. So we go back and forth. It's 3 days before the event, and we're on Friday and Saturday, and it takes a lot to bring that back. But thank God just a lot of things could have went really wrong. So the job is a creature on its own. What the job also does is give us an honor to work with student athletes every day and make an impression and a difference in their lives. I took this job after counseling murderers and running a halfway house for addicts and alcoholics. And one of the hardest things in walking away from that job was knowing I was walking away from something that was dedicated to changing lives and making the world a better place by instilling faith in people, giving them tools to be successful, and teaching people how to live and reach their true potential. Little did I know that that job trained me ideally for the position I was walking into. And this is what helped me be successful. Listening to my girls, valuing what they wanted, more important what they needed, empowering them. This built trust, and to me trust is key, especially at the developmental stage of these young women. We brought each other together and we quickly identified what we wanted as a culture at Linwood. We demanded excellence from each other. And we truly believed that together we could win. Teaching them every single day that we get what we put in, and I challenged them every day to bring their very best that they had. We held each other accountable. I did it for them, but they certainly did it for me every single day. I also surrounded myself with brilliant people. People who wanted to help me, but those who would also put me in my place when needed, because I know I needed that. I have an outstanding group of young women who trust their coach, and I would absolutely not be here without them behind me 110%. I'll use a small example. Last year, before I took over, not because I wasn't coaching them, but they lost 13-1 against Miami. So we go in the first game, and guys, everything's gonna be okay. They were pretty good. It was 5-0 in the first 10 minutes of the game. So I was in a position where now I didn't know what the heck to do. Second game comes around. We actually got into that game 7-1, which I thought was really, I was yeah, I got into that 7-1. We scored 5 goals in the first period, but I was proud of that. Second game, it was, they had about 20 shots in the first period, relentless forecheck. I walked in second after the first period, and I talked to the girls, and I said, "You guys know box of one defense?" They said, "Absolutely not." I said, "Great, that's what we're doing." I don't know one either. I drew it up. They trusted me, and they knew my philosophy, and that was the key. I think what I did was make it okay to take risks, even when the failures were possible. You know, I think really honestly, too often we're afraid to take chances and fail. And I believe in young minds, the opportunity to fail fosters incredible creativity. And although I'm not a huge fan of the box of one myself, I took a chance and I was trying to be creative. And for whatever reason, it worked. It was a 3-2 game. A lot better than where we did the day before. You know, we were in it together, we were in it as a team. To wrap this up, I want to thank my family, my friends for all their support, sticking around when I was literally non-existent for months and months. I want to thank my GA, Devin Lesh, for her support and love throughout the season. I want to thank Molly and Scott as leaders for the ACHA. The two of you have been absolute lifesavers, and I'm very proud to have you guys as leaders. Thank you very much. Lastly, I want to thank my university for giving me full support and trusting me with a new vision, a new direction, honestly hiring me up and taking a chance. We all know after 8 years out of the game, you don't just randomly start coaching college hockey. I happen to have the gift to do that, and I'm very thankful for that. I want to thank my girls for the dedication and hard work, and most of all, thank all of you as my peers. Honestly, I've accepted a few awards in my time, but I've never really felt this way about something. To win an award based on votes from your peers is something that was cherished for a really long time. And I'll leave you with this. And I heard this weekend in the conference from somebody that really he just inspired me. He was the head NCAA coach for me, Red. One of the things about learning to be a great leader is learning to be a good follower first. And that's what I did this year. I learned from all of you all season long, and I continue to learn from you every single day. And for that, I really am truly grateful. And I aspire someday to be that leader to somebody else. So thank you all very much, and I really appreciate this honor. Thank you.
Thanks, Molly. Congratulations, Kat. For the Men's Division I awards, I'd like to bring up the 2001 Don Spencer Award winner and current Men's Division I Commissioner Brian Moran and Vice President Bill Shannon.
I got a lot of things to do tonight, so I want to get through them, as Scott Hicks mentioned, way shorter than Solomon. First off, I'm going to start with the Coach of the Year. The 2016 American College Hockey Association Men's Division I Coach of the Year Award, sponsored by Hero Sports, goes to Rick Zombo of Lindenwood University, selected by the head coaches of the ACHA Men's Division I. This is the first ACHA Men's Division I Coach of the Year award for Rick, after being a finalist previously during 2011 and 2012. The 2015-16 season culminated with a 2-1 win over Iowa State University to secure the 2016 ACHA Men's Division I National Championship. This was both the program and Rick's third national championship, but Rick's first as head coach, having been an assistant during 2009 and 2010. This was the third CSCHL regular season championship for Rick, to go along with 3 CSCHL playoff championships. Rick and longtime assistant coach Mark Abney guided the Lions to a 28-11-0 overall record and an 11-5-0 mark in the CSCHL. Playing in the toughest league and supplementing that with an equally daunting non-conference schedule prepared the Lions for a deep run at the national tournament. They managed to keep their defense on top throughout the season, holding opponents to 82 goals in 39 games, a 2.10 goals against average, including only 5 against in 4 wins at nationals. Zombo just completed his 6th season as head coach at Lindenwood, but before that, he spent 12 seasons in the NHL. Did you know that?
He played for the Red Wings for 8 seasons before being traded to the Blues early in the 91-92 season. His final year in the NHL was during the 95-96 campaign when he wore a Boston Bruins sweater. He finished his NHL career with 652 regular season games played, 24 career goals, 130 career assists. He skated in 60 playoff games where he recorded 1 postseason goal and 11 assists. While in college, he was a 3-time letter winner on defense with North Dakota from 1981 to 84. He is married to Stella, and they reside in Wildwood, Missouri. Rick and Stella have 3 children, Dominic, Jessica, and Garrett. The 2015-16 Men's Division I Coach of the Year, Rick Zombo.
I apologize for laughing. It's very difficult for me to live in the past. I'm very proud of my successes. I've earned it. But I get challenged every single day, not only with my wife, but also my assistant coach, where we strive to be the best on a day-to-day basis. So to hear that I was fortunate to play, trust me, I was very fortunate to play. I pursued a dream and I beat an awful lot of odds, and it was a testament to an awful lot of intestinal fortitude and a lot of resiliency, because back then I was an American. In 1981, I was an 8th round draft pick. I was probably the first pick after lunch break in a draft. I didn't know what the USHL was. You could Google my whole history as far as a hockey player, and I earned a living being a defensive defenseman, and I defended our net, and I found since I've moved on to coaching, our pursuit becomes far more challenging for me, because I don't have to just worry about myself, my ambitions, my aspirations, but I have to worry about 24 people and implications, and I have to understand that I can't necessarily put my heart on the shelf. I have to be very passionate to thoughts and concerns of not only my players, but the repercussions and the purpose of why they play and the potential future that they have. So how I coach is I talk about life skills. Life skills, very important. I think coping skills is probably the most detrimental in all players that I have inside our dressing room. So we don't do a whole lot of X's and O's inside our dressing room. We talk about understanding that we're not immune to mistakes. We've all heard the terminology trial and error. Kids nowadays don't like to fail. They're looking for instant gratification. So to build a rapport and trust is really important, because as easy as they can live my background as a professional hockey player, they couldn't care less. So it's building the trust in that I lead from the front. I don't ask them to do anything different than what I did or do. And we've been extremely successful at building a tremendous atmosphere inside our dressing room. Being up here, I'm very proud of the award, but I take advantage of being up here, boasting the virtues of my players. I had this acceptance speech just the other day, Wednesday, in front of the whole American Hockey Coaches Association, and I called my guys baggage. I guess amongst those levels, it's perceived that all the players that we have that come to the ACHA have some sort of baggage. I know when I was an American that was picked in the 8th round, I was probably a mutt. But I was very fortunate to have the success of the 1980 Olympic team. The Americans did a great job, very successful, beat all the odds, and because of them, it gave us the opportunity, us Americans, to at least somebody open the door, and to reflect on what Joe and Doc and Bill and Marshall, all you guys, I've learned a long time to give homage to the tradition of the game, utmost respect to the game. Back when I earned a living, I defended my net and my teammates. Now I defend the tradition of the game and the integrity of the game. I guess winning a national title, winning that national championship, shocked. Going into the game against Davenport, a coach, a program, a team that I really respected. I didn't put the amount of time and energy as I should have, so I was unprepared the day before in our 12:30 meeting. And only then did I find out that only 60% of our players have ever won anything, whether it be a peewee, championship, soccer, I haven't even won. And I teach winning, we teach winning, and and I was so confident in our guys, because we put the work in, we paid the price. I mean, this is overused terminology that a lot of hockey players use, sacrifice, pay the price. You really don't know what pay the price is until you win it all. And we strive, and our season's put together to win it all. But before that, the foundation that's built, that I'm up here to advertise, is the fact that I've got 18 of my players that are 3.0, 3 of them 4.0. In the spring semester, I got guys taking 21 credit hours. They take summer school. That's what I'm proud of. We run 150 kids through Learn to Play in a rink that's not funded by MOAM, USA Hockey. That's a challenge. That's a challenge to initiate and sell the game, grow the game. That's what we do at Lindenwood. All my jewelry, my championship ring gets downsized to a size 4 to my lovely wife. I don't like jewelry. I appreciate the means. I let her show it off. She shows me off. I'm an overachiever when it comes to the way I play, and also my selection for my spouse. But she gets to celebrate the glory because she's made a sacrifice too. As all you guys know that have spouses and families, to be all in is the only way to build a trust and get your players to follow through adversity. And it's usually your loved ones that take a hit. I'm also fortunate to have a real close assistant coach that does all the work for me. I've got the longest fall because I am the head coach. But Mark Adney started the hockey program at Lindenwood University. Not only did he get bored about doing my typing, he got insulted how bad my typing is, so he does my typing. He does everything. To exude extreme humility that I've been so fortunate to play alongside it in the National Hockey League. This man exudes extreme humility, and without him, we wouldn't have hockey at Lindenwood. We wouldn't have the success, and I wouldn't be able and allowed to do the type of work that I do in my sleep. I've been doing it so long. I learned through him because I learned how to listen, and it keeps me grounded, that I don't live in the past. We push and we pursue, and we push each other, we push our players, and our motto at Lindenwood, at least in our dressing room, even prior to coming in, you're going to learn how to be comfortable, uncomfortable. Be comfortable, uncomfortable, because we challenge one another. And I'm not a yeller, I'm not a screamer, I don't big time anybody. We want to make certain that we're on a mission to be successful, and at Lindenwood we are successful. And I love it, and I'm proud of my guys. And, it's something you can't take away from us, but we just have that burn for more. So Wednesday I was sitting there wanting to challenge the other coaches that get all the attention. Youth hockey is so much harder to coach a B-level player than it is AAA. And the coaches in the ACHA, you got to be really talented to coach the kids that we have. And I give you an awful lot of time and credit to what you do. The biggest problem that I see is there's so many good stories that not only come out of our program, but everybody's program. There's no shelf life. They're not told from one person to the next, and they die in the vine. It's about time that we start continuing the good story, but we all have them. We've all made the sacrifices, and if we can continue the tradition and the stories, we get an awful lot of attention, well-deserved attention. The guys that need it just as much as the guys at the Division I, Division III level of the NCAA. So thank you very much. I appreciate this award. I'll tell you, we talk about the conference that Lindenwood plays in to win Coach of the Year in Central States. That means a lot to me because you only get 4 votes and all 5 of us are damn good. We hate losing. And 4 teams that we played against in the national tournament, utmost respect. We played them all, and we choose to play them all just because it, as Joe said to start, it makes us all better. We seek out the best because it makes us better in the long run. So thank you very much for this award.
Thank you, Brian and Bill. Congratulations, Rick. We're gonna bring Bill back up. Bill, right? Oh, Bill. Sorry, Bill. Bill's gonna present the overall Community Service Award winner, the Don Spencer Award, as well as the Hall of Fame inductions.
And before I do any of that, I want to recognize Paul and the other board members, and Mike Wally, our executive director, and Marshall Stevenson, the past president, who did all the work to put this banquet together. I think a tremendous job has been done on this. It's an overwhelming success. I am so thrilled to see so many of you here. I also want to add Brian Moran to that list because he's kept us honest about, did you remember to do this? Did you remember to do that? And I think under the leadership of Paul and the rest of the board, that this has turned out to be a pretty good event. What do you think? We have had several people talk tonight about the Community Service Awards and what a great job so many of our teams have done. And it's my pleasure to present the overall winner for 2015-2016, and that is the University of Illinois. They did a benefit weekend with a total of 1,800 in attendance to raise money for the Rogers Family Leukemia Fund. Nearly 8,000 in cash raised through numerous events. Other fundraisers included Military Appreciation Night, and over Father's Day weekend raised roughly $5,000 for the University Police Department, the ROT Scholarship Fund, and others. They did a teddy bear toss that garnered 600 bears, 2,500 raised on another night for the Leap Foundation Dyslexia Awareness Campaign, and it went on and on and on. The team was tremendous. They did a great job, but they were just one of many who performed community service for their communities within the ACHA. So congratulations to the University of Illinois. Nick here. The Don Spencer Award is presented annually to someone who makes a major contribution to the welfare and benefit of the ACHA. The winner for 2016 is Ed Giacomucci, referee-in-chief. This is a very difficult job, being responsible for officiating throughout the ACHA. Imagine dealing with the complaints alone. Realistically, putting instructional sessions and clinics together throughout the country, making sure our officials are up to date on rule changes and policies. He keeps track of what's going on throughout the entire country. That's a lot of officials. That's a lot of complaints. But this year, you know what? We heard a lot of great things about our officials, particularly at our national tournaments. And that's thanks to Ed and the other referees within the organization who've done a tremendous job. It's an important job, and it's been done extremely well by Ed. Our 2015-2016 Don Spencer Award winner. Ed? didn't tell.
Can I say a couple words?
Absolutely.
I just want to thank everyone very much. Being selected as a referee in chief 3, 4, or 5 years ago, it was an honor. Really was an honor to do this. Really proud of all of our officials around the whole country. And just our board, the support I've received from the board is just overwhelming. Mike Wally, I think Mike Wally is just a blessing to our organization. He really digs in and he wants to make things better. So just thank everyone so much. I'm totally surprised at this, and we're heading in the right direction. Thank you, everyone.
The Hall of Fame. Marshall Stevenson said to me a few weeks ago that he would be willing to do this this year if I would keep it brief. Marshall, great job. Thanks a lot. After 11 years as president of the American Collegiate Hockey Association, Marshall Stevenson announced his resignation in December. His term as president followed a 10-year term as secretary, a total of 21 consecutive years as a board member. He was the recipient of the Don Spencer Award, a volunteer service award, in 2008 and 2009, and was the 2014 U.S.